Hello everyone, I'm Joseph Dinesh, a Catholic commentator from Sydney, Australia. Today, we are addressing a deeply sensitive and controversial issue, the sex abuse scandals within the Catholic Church. These scandals have profoundly shaken the Church and its faithful, and it's no surprise that they continue to spark intense debate. That said, my perspective on this might challenge some commonly held views. Recently, Sunny Hostin, a co-host on the widely watched American TV show The View, made a striking statement that caught my attention. She claimed that given the Church's history of abuse scandals, a Catholic bishop has no moral authority to guide the faithful on whether they should attend a pride parade. She even suggested that children are more safer at a pride parade than in the Catholic Church. Let's listen to what she has to say. Afterward, I will share my thoughts on this matter, drawing insights from Bishop Barron that might offer a surprising perspective on our comments.
For a Catholic bishop to come out and say something like that, given the history of pedophilia in the Catholic Church, given what the Catholic Church has hidden about the abuse of children, some would say that being at a pride parade would be much safer for a child than it has been to be in a Catholic church for many years.
When you hear her comments, it might feel like the Catholic Church is being unfairly thrown under the bus, as though its failures are the ones that matter while abuse in other institutions get a pass. And let's be honest, it's natural to feel defensive when the Church seems to be disproportionately targeted. But here is the twist. What if this relentless scrutiny is actually a blessing in disguise? Sure, Sunny's argument has its blind spots and leaps of logic, but the truth is, the media's focus on holding the Catholic Church accountable even when it stinks serves an important purpose. It keeps the Church honest and ensures that the terrible mistakes of the past don't get swept under the rug and any current sins don't have a chance to hide in the shadows. The sex abuse scandals have already inflicted a devastating harm not just to the victims, but to the Catholic Church's credibility and its sacred mission to spread the gospel. Another scandal of this magnitude, it could shake the Church to its core. That's why, as uncomfortable as it is, I would rather have the media acting as a relentless devil's advocate, pushing the Church to confront its flaws, than risk letting the actual devil quietly work from within, tearing apart God's Church. Now let's listen to what Bishop Barron has to say.
I don't think the media is picking on the Church in this measure. That, thank God for the media, that revealed the thing when the Church, to be frank, was not as willing or able to deal with it. Thank God, in a way, for the Boston Globe that brought this thing to light. So I don't really quarrel with that. I think just as in the Old Testament, God using Cyrus. I mean, God can use even enemies of Israel to affect Israel in a positive way. Did God use enemies of the Church in a way to help the Church? I would say in God's providence that it was brought to light so dramatically in the Church to force, to bring it to the world's attention. And it's part of what the Church is bearing, a legitimate punishment, I would say, but for the sake of the world, that what we've had to wrestle with, I think now is benefiting other institutions.
So I fully agree that investigative media is essential to hold the Church accountable and to ensure that both its clergy and laity remain constantly aware of their responsibility to uphold the high moral and ethical standards expected of them. At the same time, I think it's also very important to expose the logical fallacies in Sunny Hostin's arguments. To begin with, the first issue with her argument is that it falls into the trap of guilt by association. Yes, it's tragic, an undeniable fact that some priests have been involved in abusive behavior, an evil that the Church must continue to confront and atone for. However, to extend that guilt to the entire clergy or suggest that no priest or bishop within the Catholic Church has the moral authority to speak of the issues of morality is a logical misstep. It's like saying all doctors are untrustworthy because a small number of them have committed malpractice. The wrongdoings of the few should not tarnish the credibility of the entire profession, or in this case, the priesthood. Building on this, we come to the second fallacy in Hostin's argument, hasty generalization. It's undeniably true that the Catholic Church has a painful and shameful history of mishandling abusive cases, including the failure to hold abusive priests accountable and instead transferring them to different parishes without taking decisive action. However, to extrapolate from these grievous incidents and claim that all Catholic parishes are inherently unsafe is a hasty generalization. Don't you think each Catholic priest and Catholic parish has to be tested on its own merits? You won't eat a few bad apples from a vast orchard and conclude that the entire orchard is rotten without considering the countless good apples that remain right, isn't it? Finally, this brings us to the fallacy of false equivalence. Hostin draws a comparison between two fundamentally different contexts. The Catholic Church, a global religious institution spanning centuries with billions of members, and pride parades, which are specific events occurring for a limited time with varying safety dynamics depending on factors like location, crowd size, and security measures. Given that, how can she conclude that the pride parade are safer than the Catholic Church? Does she have any statistical data to prove that? It's like comparing the safety of a neighborhood park to an international airport. It's just more of an emotional outburst than a logical argument. Finally, I would like to conclude with the powerful reaction from Pope Benedict XVI, who addressed the gravity of the child sex abuse scandals in 2010. He said, "The greatest persecution of the church does not come from external enemies, but is born of the sin within the church. The church has a profound need to relearn penance, to accept purification, to learn forgiveness, but also the necessity of justice." I hope this video is helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. God bless you.